are religion. They have believers, priests, and gods. They have rituals, miracles, and sacrifices. Sports unite us. They are a calling. This is the religion of sports.
The mind and the body. The two essential parts of self are often at odds. Under what circumstances, then, do they act in harmonious unison? And does that change who we are?
My love to the water was imprinted into me since I was a kid by my mom. In the water, it's another world which is too big to be bored of. It's never enough. I love freediving for this constant self-improvement process where you learn how to relax or learn how to handle your fears. There are ways to train all year round for freedivers, and I really enjoy this process. Waking up in the morning, doing the breathing exercises, some breath holds, going to the pool. Basically, I could say that my preparation never stops.
In person, you know, it's like, I don't know, we all have superheroes and people we're looking up to, and you dream to meet these people and to learn. Alexei is king of freediving. He's like a proper, well-built machine, you know, super athlete. It's almost perfect, but there's just something missing. So maybe you have something to suggest.
Having a very precise balance in your toes is very important. So that's why we need to do those exercises for balance.
Basically, I need to become ballerina, yes?
Exactly. 1, 2.
Nuts. I'm gonna break my toes.
Don't break your toes before the dive. Yeah.
Now try with the arms.
I try with the arms, without the arms.
I hear the crackling sound.
Good. the freediving community, there is a lot of support in general, a lot of friendship, and I just like to come here. It's a good playground for me to test different things in my training.
I never understood community in a way until I found these people. So this is this whole community that connect with each other, connecting with the ocean.
Guys, we bring you some food.
Many times I said that sport actually saved me, and I was struggling. And one day, the universe sent me freediving. And I read about all these amazing freedivers, and it's like a family, basically, you know, freediving family.
It is beautiful.
The reason I freedive, I just love the sport. I enjoy the people. There's a very, very good bond.
The idea behind starting freediving for me was like changing my life. 3, 2, 1. I used to live in a rough area, caught up in the crazy wheel of nothingness. It took a lot of time, loads of sacrifice. Now I'm here and super extremely overexcited.
In freediving, it's 100% physical and it's 100% mental. You cannot get to 100 meters on brute force alone, and you cannot meditate or think yourself down there. You have to have both happening at the same time. Typically, when someone holds their breath for 8-9 minutes, they'll start to feel an urge to breathe already after maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It's all about staying relaxed despite those sensations and detaching yourself from them, seeing it just as a signal from your sensory system with information about what's going on in your body. You need to develop the poise that you need in order to stay focused, stay relaxed when you're experiencing that urge to breathe. Back in 2005, I'd kind of gotten sick of battling currents and thermoclines and boat traffic and waves and jellyfish and everything in the Mediterranean where I was. So I was looking for somewhere where I could just go out every day and know that I could train and dive to whatever depth I needed to without that hassle. And it wasn't until I actually walked down to the edge of the beach and looked at Dean's Blue Hole that I realized that it was the place that I was looking for. It was the Mecca.
Vertical Blue. Vertical Blue 2018, dream come true.
Vertical Blue is a huge competition, basically. It's like Wimbledon in tennis, with the best freedivers in the world right now.
For me, it's also a question of prestige, like to win one of the most important competitions in the year.
Vertical Blue is an invitational competition where the top athletes compete against each other in 9 days of freediving. And the idea is we're competing in 3 disciplines and accruing points in each in order to try and win the overall title. They are all constant weight, so whatever weight that you are wearing, you have to bring it back to the surface. You can't drop it off. In one discipline, we can wear fins. In the second one, no fins. And in the third one, you can use the rope to pull yourself down. So your best, deepest dive in each of the 3 disciplines gets pulled together, and the person with the highest number of points across the 3 wins. Every athlete puts a slip in the box to say how deep they're going to dive. And once you've made that announcement, you cannot then change the depth.
So Gus had a prize for doing 105 meters. I said I will get him a steak in the restaurant if he will do 105 meters.
He warned me, yes? So I actually have been threatened because I live in the same house. He said, you have no fucking right to dive shallow. Deep diving.
This is a deep dive. This is a deep dive. No, but Gus is always very careful, so it's not like he's risking to...
What he was saying, I'm a paranoid person.
Yeah, he's a bit paranoid.
So I'm always on the safe side. I try to be a few steps away from the edge.
William Trubridge is the most decorated champion of vertical blue competition, and he was winning them for many years in a row. And last year was the first year when I beat him in overall, and this year I'm here to defend my title.
Myself and Alexei have always kind of squared off this year as well. He's performing very, very strong. It's going to be a big challenge.
We have a long story of rivalry with him, and but it's like friendly rivalry. In all the past years, he was dominating because he have 2 world records. For this year, my goal is to win overall. First day of the comps is usually harder than other days because it's just like an opening and you're a bit more nervous because of it. But the 130 meters is a new world record, and my intention is to get it.
Alexei Volkanov, Russia, constant weight 130 meters, world record attempt.
1 minute.
Really the performance that we've been waiting for. Alexei Molchanov, the deepest dive that you will see in vertical blue is about to happen to push the sport of freediving to new heights.
Freediving, all your worries and desire to succeed should vanish when you go down.
30 seconds.
You need to refocus your attention to the present moment.
20.
Physiologically, the sport of freediving is completely different to any other sport.
10.
The moment when we put our face in the water, our heart rate drops.
3, 2, 1.
The body recognizes that you don't have an intake of oxygen, so even the mental processes stop.
We descend and we're having to kind of work against our buoyancy because we have full lungs. On the way down, those lungs compress, so the volume of air becomes less. So you lose buoyancy, which means that you, after a certain point, can stop swimming and free fall.
$80 meters. 90 meters.
We're holding our breath here on the platform. I think everybody cannot believe what we're about to witness here.
100 meters. 110 meters. 120 meters.
He makes the deck. He grabs the tag and he starts the ascent. And this is really where the hard work begins.
When we turn around at the bottom, you have to kind of stay relaxed and focused, not panic or anything, because of course if you panic, you consume more oxygen. When we have the lowest oxygen at the very end of the dive, that's when you have to be as present as you can in your mind. If during that time your oxygen levels fall below the threshold for consciousness, then you can black out.
Molchanov with a stunning performance by the Russian. 130-meter world record. Absolutely spectacular. New heights for the sport of freediving. Certainly one of the strongest athletes in this competition. He's really the guy to beat out here.
I call him the golden retriever of freediving because he goes after that bottom plate with like the zest and the determination and the enthusiasm of a golden retriever. And he's always wearing that golden suit. The other hand, I never know what's going on inside of him. I've known him for 11 years. I couldn't tell you anything.
My mom was a swimmer, and she would raise and train me, and at the same time as I was training, she would train as well. Every year we would go to the Black Sea, and there I would dive and collect some seashells and mussels. First time I was freediving, it was back in the 1990s when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Natalia Molchanova, she was the best freediver of all times.
The best competitive freediving mind I've ever seen. Like how she could, every world championship, set new world records, go away with 3 gold medals every time, despite the mounting pressure and despite these younger people inching up to her. She was unbelievable when it comes to that.
She had the right mindset, but also the body. Even though she was 53 when she was still doing the world records, she was really fit. I mean, she was really, really strong. So she had both the mental part and the physical part.
Natalia Molchanova made a big emphasis on psychological aspects, how you feel about things, about not pushing, and explained it in a really subtle way.
Можно добиться рекордов через преодоление, через работу над тренировкой с каким-то психическим напряжением, с желанием достичь какого-то результата. Будет борьба с миром и с собой. Второй вариант, который мы, конечно же, пропагандируем, это тренировки спокойные, направленные на расслабление под водой. Результат тренировок все равно будет повышение личных рекордов, но при этом не будет борьбы с собой, потому что человек поймет, что бессмысленно с собой воевать, надо принимать себя таким, как есть, и возникнет гармония с миром. Человек примет мир таким, как он есть.
For her, freediving was not just, go down, take the tag, and come up and a new world record. She was experiencing, I think, very strong spiritual experiences.
From an outside, it looks like a unique relationship. For me, I realize now how unique they were, but actually back then it was normal because she was my coach for my whole life. That was really, really awesome times because we traveled together for 10 years and trained together, compete together in tropical locations, and that was really, really awesome.
He was a teenager when I first met him, and you kind of have to rebel against your mother, right? So she would tell him how to do certain things, and he would go and do his own thing. And there's stories of him eating like a gallon of ice cream 3 hours before a competition, and she would just go like, "Oh, my son, I love him, he's an idiot."
Леша установил рекорд континентальный ныряние в глубину без лаз 96 метров. Я ему писала в смс-ке не более 94. Делала 3 восклицательных знака, потом ставила 5 восклицательных знаков. Он все равно заказал 96, он сделал эту глубину со 2-го раза, не с 1-го. Вот, то есть он мало меня слушает, честно говоря.
think it's safe to say that for the first and second spots, really the guys to watch are going to be Alexei and Will. Big performance from the New Zealand athlete. We've got Alexei Molchanov getting ready, 92 meters and no fins. See, no doubt he's going to make the plate. So this has really become a chess match between the two athletes, and Will taking a little bit different strategy than the Russian, but I think that you can never doubt the champion's tactics.
You announce your dive the night before without knowing what your competitors are going to do, so you have to kind of guess what they might do, what they're capable of, how conservative you want to be, and it is a little bit of a chess game. If you don't announce enough, maybe an athlete beats you with a depth that you could have done also. Or you can stretch it too far, in which case you risk blacking out.
Turn around, turn around, turn around, mate. Turn around. That was a close one.
As soon as the safety touches the athlete, performance is disqualified. So William unable to battle through that surface protocol.
We have a surface protocol at the end of the dive that we need to complete to show that you haven't pushed it past your hypoxic limit. You should be able to, within 15 seconds of surfacing, take off any gear that's on your face, like mask or goggles, make an okay sign, and say, I am okay to the judges. So it's there as a check on your level of consciousness at the end of the dive. There's always going to be failures. It's the failures that make you stronger. But as a community, we'd become complacent to some of the injuries that were happening and some of the risks associated with those injuries.
That was a bit more reckless when I was younger, of course, and I would try to progress really fast and listen to my body less.
Риск, конечно, присутствует, но этот риск, он просчитан. И у нас система страховки существует достаточно надежная. Все случаи неприятные, которые происходят с человеком под водой, они, как правило, основаны на его ошибках, на ошибках человека, а не природной среды.
So I can't tell you how excited I am about this next dive. Jessie Liu from China, living in Hawaii, my home state, will be attempting the world record for the females, 93 meters in free immersion. 4 minutes until she starts on the journey of a lifetime.
We freedivers are free spirits, and we move freely as we want to explore our potential and the world around us. Then there is this edge, and beyond that, it's a cliff that can go really, really deep, and if we fall off the cliff, we might die.
Packing with air, readying yourself for the descent of a lifetime.
I prepared my body to be able to make a world record level dive, and I succeeded in training and felt it was really easy and confident. I came out so clean that I thought there would be no problem I can repeat this dive in competition.
It's going to be a long dive, 4 minutes for the Chinese athlete. Can her breath hold?
I felt very determined when I started the dive. When I entered the free fall, I felt good. I felt really relaxed. When I saw the plane approaching, I reached down with the other hand to look for the tag, but I didn't feel anything. I just felt emptiness. I had gone deeper than I intended, and I knew the extended time and a little bit of struggle at the bottom will cost me a lot of oxygen.
The safety divers are there, ready to assist. Can she do it, unassisted?
As I was going down to film her, I saw that she was moving way too slow. As a safety diver, if you touch the diver, you disqualify them. So you're trained to not touch them until they disqualify themselves.
Almost there, 20 meters.
Jessie's case, she kind of stopped moving and like she wasn't pulling anymore. So the safety made the decision to grab her, bring her up.
And she's being assisted by the safety divers. This record won't count. She's unconscious.
I was traveling almost in a tunnel. I felt the world I just was diving in, and I also felt the other side where it's just complete letting go and relax. It wasn't terrifying. I heard a lot of noises around me. I couldn't distinguish what that was. So at that moment, I was deciding whether or not I wanted to stay in that relaxed, peaceful place longer, or would I want to wake up? I heard people calling my name. They were more worried about me than myself. I thought to myself, I needed to let the people watching me know that I'm okay. Then there was a fight to try to break through this frozen state. When my consciousness returned to the body, I felt reborn. I felt I was sent back by the universe to this body to do something.
Life happens between breaths, from our first to our last. But what happens after them? This is the unknown. Our desire to unify mind and body is deeply connected to our desire to know our fate.
When I was a kid and I just started freediving, and I started to get some traumas from depth with the lungs and with the blackouts. My mother would see these blackouts, and she would give me rescue breaths after a really deep blackout, and she didn't like that at all. And so she was very upset with me, and she would say to me that I need to stop freediving, but I said to her that it's not an option.
Саш, ты меня поменьше снимай.
Я понял.
Лучше снимай молодежь побольше.
Да, хорошо.
The way how she affected the lives of other people, the way how she loved other people, and she genuinely tried to help them and give them this love to freediving as well. And now I see a lot of people who are in love with freediving just because of her.
She was like my idol. We had like 1 week of training together, having fun. After that, she went to Ibiza, Alexei, and I had dinner together. He was behaving a little bit weird. He was very impatient, and he was having some phone calls, and nobody had any idea what was going on because he was holding everything inside of him. He didn't want to say to anyone that Natalia is missing.
Natalia Molchanova disappeared off the coast of Spain Sunday, where currents were strong.
He didn't say anything to us. He just left to the first flight and went directly to Ibiza to find his mom.
She was doing some fun dives with her friends, and there were no deep freedivers there to really understand what happened. I think the boat drifted from the shallow place to a deeper place, so where they were diving originally was a 30-meter depth. And I think my mom didn't know that they drifted to a deeper place, and then maybe she dove a little bit deeper than she was planning to. There are some currents as well in this region, so I think all this together happened, caused the blackout.
They were looking for her, but it's an open sea, and they never found her. So basically, she was home. She stayed home. When she disappeared, it was a shock. It was basically like every one of us in this freediving community lost a mom. After Natalia's death, Alexei was still like a boy. They were so connected. Honestly, I thought that he will collapse.
At some point, our bodies fail, and our physical and spiritual selves drift apart. Does this mean our bodies are only vessels for some unknown truth about who we are? Or does the natural decay of matter signify the ultimate ending?
During this competition, I've earned a red card, that from the perspective of judges is a failure, as I failed to perform a good protocol. I forgot to remove the nose clip. After the red card, I had a few doubts, but today I'm going to prove the world that I can do it, and I will set a new national record.
There are very little athletes who can manage to be on the top in all three disciplines because they are basically really different to each other. But for me personally, it's the most important that I do well in my favorite discipline. Constant weight with a monofin.
I never leave a competition with an unsuccessful dive. I always want to end on a good note. So I wanted to make it fun. A lot of people send me really heartwarming messages from China. I'd like to do this dive for them. And I'm going to bring a Chinese flag with me and just bring it all the way back to the surface.
Alexei believes in me, and so that gives me a lot of confidence that for sure I will be going deeper. You know, there's no space for emotions. Like I try to approach it very tactically. Through discipline, through continuous application of training, it's changing your mind.
My goal is to do a strong dive. It's very important that I go deeper. First of all, I need to feel good. When I come back from a dive on the surface, I must feel yes.
3, 2, 1.
Vertical Blue is just an amazing learning event where you understand your weak points and something that you need to improve a little bit, you know. The idea is, yes, you come here to compete, but in a way, I think everybody would agree that it's a competition more with yourself than with others. With time and dedication and energy, I think everything is possible, you know.
We're going to see William Trubridge perform what is the most important dive so far. A literal turning point. By completing this dive, William Trubridge can put himself back in contention for the first place.
So after the last couple of red cards, I'm hoping that I kind of get a nice, relaxed no fins dive to 93 meters, which is just enough for the gold medal in that discipline. Freediving is an intensely spiritual experience. It's always been about the exploration. So the exploration of my own kind of potential and human boundaries. As you relax, different muscles, different parts of your body, they kind of drop away. Not only are you not receiving any sensory information because there's nothing, you're not touching anything, there's nothing to give you. It's almost as if you no longer have arms, legs, tissue, and that falls away. And so you become just kind of pure mind. The water somehow kind of takes away any thoughts about the future or the past. And so the mind is just at rest, I guess. It's holding its breath as well, maybe. I really do feel like everything else has slipped away and I am just that state of awareness. The body starts to send signals of its own, the urge to breathe, the CO2 is building, that becomes more and more urgent. And so you're aware of the need to get back to the surface.
Alexei announcing the free immersion world record today, if he is to complete that world record on top of the constant weight world record, it's going to be impossible for Will to take first place in this event.
After Natalia passed away, there was a lot of rumors about Alexei, that he was this spoiled child, mommy's boy, and that is a little bit of a mess.
First time I've seen him since his mom passed away, and he comes up to say hi, and he instantly starts talking to me about cameras. So he doesn't want to talk about it, but we talk about safe things, you know? We don't have to go into that emotional sphere.
Minutes.
I was all the time asking, how is Alexei? What is going on with him? But I didn't hear anything.
1 minute.
Alexei Molchanov, Russia. Free immersion, 125 meters, world record attempt.
Five, four, three, two, one.
For me, it's like two different lives. There is a moment like before her disappearance, and then there is everything else after. It felt like at this moment I was left alone.
$40 meters.
For a couple of years, I didn't have enough emotional capacity to process all these emotions and grief. I did feel responsibility. I realized that it's me who will need to fill the void that my mom left, and to become a leader for freediving community. The way I compete and train is, I would imagine that she would be proud of me. main reason for me to do this is I feel like I'm connected to her in some ways.
Salute.
Yeah, na zdrowie!
So that's a steak for you for your 105 meters.
Yes.
I'll give him steak.
Motivation. Here is the motivation for you.
Because the idea was that the steaks are actually quite expensive here. And I was like, no way I can afford this steak. And he's like, if you die 105, I'll
get you a steak.
Get you a steak. And I was like, this is it, you're not gonna go for it.
I'm gonna go. Thank you.
Toast.
Toast.
Yeah.
To Alexei's world records?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Na zdrowie. Thank you.
Oops. Good luck.
Hopefully not the last ones.
Alexei is putting a lot of effort and time in developing our sport, and we need that. It's really, really important for us. So basically what was she doing before, now he's doing in his own way, but also very, very successful.
In Ibiza, we'll have a memorial competition in the name of my mom, where she'd disappear. I think it's time now I just continue the thing that she loved. My mom's legacy for the sport is her education system that she developed, and also her philosophy about the sport. She was not pushing, she was not looking at this as only sport. So she was looking at it as a way to understand yourself better. The one thing you don't say enough to the parents is that you love them. Especially like now, I realize how surely make sure that I say here that I love her a lot more often than I did. That's some of the regrets I think that everybody have, and me as well.
Before we announce the medal winners, as you all know, this was our 10th anniversary of Vertical Blue, and there were set during this event 10 world records, 2 by the men, 8 by the women. It's been a Vertical Blue for the ages, and a fitting one for our 10th anniversary, especially with Alexei's 2 impressive world records. Even though we're trying to beat each other, we're still kind of together as a group, enjoying time together, and I think that's more than anything else the beauty of this event, that really kind of brings this community together in a lovely way.
The bronze medal goes to Alenka Artnik from Slovenia, 105 meters, 98.1.
What is really important for me, apart from freediving, is this connection with people. And I wish I can give as much as I can to my fellow freedivers.
I'm really happy with my results in this competition. I set 4 national records and I came 5th overall. And now the world knows that I can compete at this level.
Vertical Blue, it was quite a wild experience. I love the people and the support and the self-confidence I gained throughout the competition.
And now for the men, the overall achievements. In 3rd place, from Italia, Omar Liucci. And in 2nd place overall, our host, William Trubridge. And in 1st place overall on this magnificent 10th anniversary of Vertical Blue, Alexei Molchanov of Russia.
When a meditator reaches the final, deepest level of meditation, the boundaries of self dissolve. In that state, there is no mind and no body. Just a visceral connection to everything and everyone that has ever been.
Трудно передать словами, что человек чувствует под водой. Это может быть чувство воссоединения с пространством, воссоединение с изначальным. Мы понимаем, что жизнь ценна сама по себе.